Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Stephanie Lopez and I help ladies to create a healthy relationship with mind, body and food, and I also share my life. So we share behind the scenes of what it is to be a regular mom, single mom, with a regular job and creating her own business, being an entrepreneur and influencer. So this morning I was about to sit down and get ready for filming a video that I need to film, and I was like, you know what, let's just sit down and also film a get ready with me while we talk about my story. I've been filming videos for a while now here on YouTube, and I noticed that I haven't like really sit down and talk with you about my story. So what it is that made me be where I am right now and wanting to do what I do, and a little bit about my goals, you know. So as I mentioned in the intro, my name is Stephanie, and I don't know how to do this. I'm probably gonna sit down and talk and not even get ready. So alright, so I guess we're all going to start by the fact that after I got divorced, when I got divorced, I was like overweight. I was super depressed, postpartum depression. I had 2 babies, one behind the other, and I got divorced. It was not a good one, and I don't know, I was really like already in a dark place. But then I started like reuniting with my friends and going out and partying, and I took it all on partying and getting drunk and high, and I got my dark days, to be honest. And it came to a point where honestly I don't even know I'm still alive. Well, I do now. I just didn't feel my purpose here on earth, but it's a miracle that I'm like still here. And I almost had like really bad car accidents. I was driving so drunk I didn't even remember when I was home. And I had this really horrible situation with a friend that I had, where I was like really scared for my life, and I told him like, if you're gonna die, you can die, but let me get out of the car, because I want to go back home to my kids. And that's when I first realized that, you know, I needed to make a change. But I was so deep in my dark space that I didn't know how. So I somehow keep this lifestyle, and for some reason, I think I'm gonna cry. For some reason, I had this dream about me getting ready to go out with my girlfriends it was like for the next 4 months. I had this dream that I was getting out to go out with my girlfriends, and one friend that me and him had in common called me and told me, hey Steph, have you seen this guy, the name of the person. And I was like, I saw him last night, but we didn't talk much. And she was like, oh, I got notified that he had an accident and he died. And I was like devastated. And for the next 4 months I thought maybe it was like a guilt for what I told him that day, because I knew he was in a bad shape as well and he needed help, but I was personally not in a place where I could help this person, and the best thing I could do was to cut it off. Even though we still remain like friends and we would see each other and hanging out and stuff like that, we will say hi, but I could not have him because he was being really reckless when it comes to his life and his driving, and I could not risk that. Anyways, long story short, 4 months later after my encounter with him, I was out with my girlfriends. We were having a mini burger sliders, and he came in and I saw him, and we looked at each other, we smiled at each other, and he came to me. We talked for a few seconds, and then his girlfriend came in, so he was like, okay, we keep talking later, my girlfriend is here. And I was like, okay. So we ate and we decided to leave. We wanted to stay there and hang out. And for some reason, when I was leaving, something told me to stop and look at him. And I immediately created like this Kodak moment, this picture of him. And he looked at me, and like I looked at him, and I had this weird feeling, and I left. So my girlfriends and I decided to the next day go out to bike riding, and when I'm getting ready, I got this phone call, and I was like, yeah, it was the friend that me and him had in common. And she told me, hey, have you seen him? And I was like, yeah, I saw him last night, but we couldn't talk much. And I think this is already sounding familiar, because it is. So she's like, hey, have you seen him? And I was like, yeah, I saw him last night, we couldn't talk much, he was doing fine. And she was like, I got a call from a friend, and that she saw on the newspaper that he had a car accident and he died. And I was like, I immediately, like, I already had this weird sensation when I had that call, especially as the events of the call keep happening, and I keep having like this reminder of my dream, deja vu you call it, whatever. Anyway, I immediately knew that my dream was actually preparing me to what was gonna happen, and that actually took me in an even darker place. Try not to cry and ruin my makeup. So I wasn't raised with my birth mom. I was raised by my dad and my stepmom. And after I started having my kids, I started to, thanks to social media, reconnect with my birth mom, and she was like always there. She always remembered everything, important appointments, and she was the person I could talk about things that I couldn't talk with my dad. My dad was super strict, and they're also like religious people, church people. So there were a few things that I never had felt comfortable to talk about. So I was like, yeah, I could talk about those things with my birth mom. So we started to have a good relationship, and she knew what was going on. And it came to a point where I said I need a change, and if I don't make a change now, things are not gonna end well for me. And that's when she said, why don't you move here with us? And I always knew that I wanted to live in the United States, but I never had the courage, because it's a big change and I was scared, so I never did. And she encouraged me to do that, and I finally decided, you know what, let's just do it, because I need a change, and if I don't change something soon, ASAP, things are not gonna end up well for me either. So I left to Virginia, and the first few weeks were amazing. I was in this new country, state, where absolutely everything is freaking different. Everything. Lifestyle, culture, thinking, personalities, everything is different. Obviously, right? But I fell in love with it, and I immediately knew that was my home. I knew it. As soon as I got there, I knew that's where I was meant to be. But of course, I'm new. I don't have friends at that point still. Those are the only family that I had. And not even a month later, things did not start to be well. And my birth mom started to show me this other side of her that I didn't know yet. And instead of me going to the United States to like get my shit back together and, you know, fix my life and whatever, get out of depression, I was getting sucked back into it. And it came to a point where I was even so skinny that my friends would text me and be like, girl, you are way too skinny, what's going on with you? And I was like, no, I'm okay. But I was scared of everything. Every time I hear my phone, I was scared to death about what she was gonna come out now, because she will always have an excuse to like take money away from me, to the point where she even started to charge me to take care of the boys. And it hit me really, because my stepmom has never had the audacity to do something like that to me, still until this day when I came back to Puerto Rico. My stepmom never ever did that to me. You know, it's to grandkids. How the hell you dare to see your kids like at work. And she would tell me that taking care of my kids was a full-time job and blah blah blah, and she needed money or she was not going to take care of them, and if I didn't pay her she would kick me out because she knew I had nowhere to go, no friends, no nothing. So she took advantage of that for a long time. And then she started to find excuses or lie about things to get me to pay her more. Like, by example, my sister, ever since the day one that I moved there, her bed was broken. I remember I was sleeping like this side because her bed was broken, and then she decided to blame my kids while I was at work. So I didn't say it, so I couldn't prove that they did it. But she would start like, oh, your kids broke your sister's bed, you need to pay her $200 to buy a new bed. Like, it was like that. Oh, they broke the curtain, you need to pay me to pay this. Oh, they broke this. And it came to a point where I was over with. One night I came late from work. I was working 40 hours on Saturday and Sundays only. So it came to a point where I was only sleeping 1 hour, and I didn't even want to sleep that hour because I was afraid I was not gonna wake up to go to work. So because I was living far, I was living in a neighborhood that was far away from where my job is, so it was almost an hour driving on top of that. So long story short, it was bad, and I was scared of my phone, what she was gonna say now, and I was like, I needed to be over. And one day, I think it was a Sunday, I came from work, it was like midnight, and she wanted to charge me for something else, and I was over, and I said no. And she said, what do you mean no? And I was like, no, because she also would not take care of the kids. She lived in a townhouse. She would leave the kids alone in my bedroom downstairs, and all of them would be upstairs, and she would not feed them, bath them, nothing. She would leave them there. Like, still to this day, my kids have nightmare about her. They have never ever tell me one thing about her, never. So I was over it. So I pick up the kids, I wake them up, and I took it because she will also let them destroy my room. Like, my room, you know how you come work 40 hours in less than 2 days, and you come home and your room is completely upside down, your TV is broken, the bed is broken, everything, books and everything, it's in the floor. It came to a point where I even think that she was doing it because it was so bad. I was like, how the hell my kids do that? Then I figured out she was not watching them. They would try to go upstairs with them, and they were like, she would like yell at him like, go downstairs, stay downstairs. They didn't want him. And yeah, I finally had over it, and I grabbed the kids and I left the house. It was midnight, it was cold, it was winter, and I had nowhere to go, but nowhere to call, only co-workers. But it felt so good to get out of there. I feel relief. I feel like God is having all this weight on top of me for all this time. And when I left, instead of me being frustrated that I had nowhere to go, I was happy. I was laughing and I was crying, but like, oh, I'm done. I'm done with this person. I don't want to ever know anything else about this person. And yeah, you know. So I ended in a hotel. I couldn't go to work because I had the kids, co-workers. My boss started to like try to find me shelters, or a friend trying to find me a friend who could help me because shelters were full. It's winter. So my co-worker found a friend that he actually he had a huge house, and he used to rent his rooms to people, especially people that, you know, were like really in need. So he allowed me to stay there, and I stayed there for a couple months. Alright, so my camera ran out of memory, so I had to transport my video. Anyway, so what I was saying, so I finally got out of there and I got shelter, but I was having trouble getting housing. And this is like what also inspires me to what I want to do in the near future from here, is that I noticed that they are very strict to giving people shelter, and they don't give a shit about having all these moms with their kids in the street, sleeping in the car with kids in the street. What I'm saying with this is that in my case, and the shelter, there was this one room with one twin bed that was empty, and it stayed empty for like 2 weeks, because the lady that was there already vacated. And for a person to get in that room, it has to be one person. If it's a mom with her child, she does not qualify to get that room, because obviously they both don't fit in the bed, even if it's winter and it's snowing outside. Like, if you're a mom, you will give your child the fucking bed, and you will sleep in the floor if you need to sleep in the floor. But at least they are safe in a house with a heater on, and that child is sleeping on a bed. But no, they rather leave you sleeping in the car. And I know this because I had to go every day. You feel like you are these ex-convicts in probation. That's how you feel. That's how they treat you when you are in a shelter. You have to like pass all these tests. You have to like check in with them every morning, check in with every night. They will go into your house and to your room, check your stuff and everything like that. And I had to go and check in, and every time me and another girl that were in a shelter will go in to check in, there was this mom outside, and she would go every day asking if they had a room for her, and they will tell her no, when I know for a fact there was an empty room in the house that I was at. And it's heartbreaking how they rather do this. And I also, before in that shelter, I was in a program where every week we will go to a different church, and they will give you meals, place to stay and stuff like that, and fun things for the kids. And they had space for more people, but again, if it's space for 3 people and there comes this family of 4, they will not give you the space, and they would rather leave that slot empty, not give you the food, leave the kids starving outside and cold, literally. So that's a big flop. So anyways, I was trying to find a housing. I was like, okay, this is what I can afford. Let's say I can afford a $700 house, but my income was $1,500, so I was barely paying the rent, water, light, whatever we need, and that's it. But for you to get a house, you had to make 3 times the rent. So if I wanted a $700 house, my income needed to be $2,100. I was now making $2,100, so I would immediately not qualify for a house. Problem number 2 was that it was me and 2 kids. So if I was like, okay, my income is $1,500, so that means I can afford a $500 house, but $500 house were 1 bedroom, then they would rather leave us sleeping in the street in the cold than give us a room, because by law, because I have kids, I needed a 2-bedroom house, not a 1-bedroom house. Again, I will give them the room and I will sleep in the couch, but at least we are in a home, safe, better than sleeping in the street, staying in shelters. And the kids will be warm, you know, safe. But they don't give a shit about you and your health and your well-being and nothing like that. They don't understand what it is to be a mom and, you know, single. The next struggle that I started to have was that everybody were like, oh, you have kids? And I was like, yeah. You have a husband? I was like, no. And they were like, oh, girl, you need a husband. So people, every time I say that I had kids, will be like, girl, you need a husband. And I started to allow that to get in my mind, that I needed a husband. And it became to the point where I felt lonely. I didn't have my family there with me, so I moved the camera now. I didn't have family. I already had friends that were always there with me and helped me. I made it all this time thanks to the friends that I had, but also because I met them. The best friends that I have right now, I actually met them in the shelter and the program for homeless people and stuff like that. So yeah, I started to feel lonely, and I was like, I need a husband, you know, maybe I do. So I started to have this thing with my coworker, and to be honest, I saw the red flags from day one. I knew he was not the one for me, but I was so desperate for like love and attention, having someone. At this point, I'm living in a hotels, because on winter hotels do weekly rates, and you don't have to worry about a lease, your income, nothing. You just go, you pay them the week, 200 and something a week, and that's it. And you don't worry about water, light bills, contracts, lease. You don't worry about nothing. You just go, give me 1 week, and that's it. But the problem was that when winter was over, you needed to get out. So at that time I was living in a hotel, and things started to get bad in that relationship, and then I got pregnant, and it came to a point where I was in college and I had 2 jobs, and I was literally not sleeping. I would not remember where I was going home, and I almost even crashed a few times. And I remember 2 of them where in my dream I was driving the road that I was driving, but I'm dreaming it, and out of the sudden something white, once was a car and the second time was a person, a white thing, came out of nowhere. And when I was about to, like, oh my god, I woke up and I was about to crash my car in that exact same place. If that's not eye-opening, guys, I don't know what it is. But I knew I needed a change. And I remember one day this relationship was becoming a physical abusive relationship. I was pregnant. I was not sleeping for 3-4 days straight. Again, I was having like from 5:30 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. to sleep, but I was so tired I didn't know when to sleep. I would go and take a big ass shower to wake me up because I was scared that I was not gonna wake up to go to work. And I got help from the state. The state was helping me to get paid for babysitting and stuff like that. But the hard part of finding a job is that babysitting places do not open on Saturdays and Sundays and do not open at nighttime. So you need to get a job during school times, and my specialty was bakery. It's nighttime, 5 a.m. and Saturdays and Sundays. And cleaning, if you get a job in hotels, stuff like that, you need to work on Saturdays and Sundays. So it was hard. And one day I called my dad and I said, I can't do this anymore, I need help, or something is gonna go wrong, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna lose my baby. And he was like, just tell me yes and I'll get you back home. And I was like, take me back home. And I realized I'm staying in my grandma's 1-bedroom studio, and I'm sitting there. It was like midnight, and I'm sitting there super pregnant, and I'm like, wow, I am almost 30 years old and I am a fucking failure. I have no job, I have no career, I failed as a mom, I failed as a woman, as a human, as a daughter. Like, I am nothing, and I'm almost 30 years old. And I also knew I was in the wrong place, aka Puerto Rico is not my home anymore. Unfortunately, it's been 5 years since that, I'm still here, but I knew that was not my home, and then one day I wanted to go back. But now I had the knowledge of knowing how life is there, what is the problem, and now I can figure out a way to solve that problem so I don't have that situation anymore. And I immediately knew that A, I needed to build my own business, and B, it needed to be a business where I don't depend on the seasons, because I was working as a baker in Golden Corral. I do miss that job sometimes, I will say. But on summer I will have overtime, and on winter I will have 12 hours a week. Who can pay the rent on winter when you're turning heaters on but working 12 hours a week? So I needed a job that I would keep having my income no matter what the season is, and I could take that job with me, and I could be with my kids, because I also found myself not being with my kids. I was missing out. They were in daycare or with my boyfriend, and I was not with them. And that's what I knew, that I did not just needed to have a business, but I needed to have an online business. So that's how I started. So I started to do like my website, doing YouTube, Google, every free webinar, every free course. I started to take it because, again, I'm a single mom, broke as fuck. I cannot pay anybody to do this shit for me. So I started like doing videos from my iPhone 6, editing it from my iPhone 6. I started to use WordPress, and I learned how to do everything myself. Marketing, social media, YouTube, a website design, a blog. And one of the things that I was struggling is what I was gonna talk about, and I noticed that people were coming to me for being a fitness coach, because I started my fitness journey. I started to work out. People were asking me, because I totally lost like almost 50 pounds, guys. And you might think, oh, but 50 pounds is not that much, but I'm 4 feet tall. So those 50 pounds are not going up. I totally went to the sides, and people would think that I was pregnant again. People were like, girl, you're fat. And I was either too fat or too skinny. My life story. But long story short, when I noticed that people were asking me questions, I figured I knew that it would have to be about health. At first it was all about fitness, but then as my life changed, as I became, you know, started to learn about being a business owner and learning how to be a business owner, I learned entrepreneurship, mindset, leadership. I learned a lot of things that completely changed my life, which I would do. The next video will be 5 things I changed my life, 5 things that helped me change my life, and I will talk about that. But that's my story. That's how I started, and that's why I'm here, because I wanted to be at home with my kids. And right now I'm working, I'm getting ready, I'm taking my sweet time with my coffee. My boys are in the room playing Xbox, and my daughter is in the living room watching cartoons, interrupting me every 5 seconds. And that's the dream, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be able to be with my kids and take care of them. And if I needed to pause the video to go and take care of them for the millionth time, I could do it, because I'm at home, I'm chill, I am rested, I have my good night's sleep, and I'm not missing out on my kids, and I'm making my money, you know. But for my future, I found out that even though they had their flaws, these people that were doing Connection Point is the center that I was getting my help, shelter, and food and stuff like that, helping homeless people. Even though I don't agree with a lot of things that they were doing, one thing I do have to say is that they helped me on the worst time of my life. And when I was feeling scared, they made me feel comfortable, like relaxed. They give me relief. They make me feel safe. And I knew, and I made it my life mission to one day give that back. Give that help. Everything that I've received, give it back. One thing that I love about Virginia is that there is help. Even though they make it hard for you, there are good people out there. And one day I really want to go to those churches that help me and feed me, and go there and say, hey, I was one of the girls that you helped when I was homeless, and here I am great, I made it, I survived, I am successful, and I am here to either make a donation or help you guys when you do this program. I want to be a volunteer. I want to be able to go there, volunteer, and help other females, other moms that are struggling with the same things that I did struggle, because I know what it feels. I know the desperation, and I know how important for me was that these people helped me, that these people gave food to my kids, that these people made us laugh, help us, made us feel like we were not alone. And it's my mission to one day go back to Virginia, go back home, and never ever depend on anybody or a roommate that will kick me out, worrying about paying rent or anything like that. I don't ever want to worry about anything like that, and I want to be able to volunteer and go to a shelter and give food to kids that are homeless. And I really want to do like this program. I just had this enlightenment last week where I could do like a program to help moms to get like, and I don't know what's the word in Spanish, but like entrepreneurship, like help them to change their mindset and get started on their own journey, and teach them like all the things I wish I knew, all the things, everything that I have learned over the past 5 years, save those 5 years to them and say, hey, this is what you need to do, this is your next step, this is your next step, and help them to get out of the ground and be able to like support and their families and themselves, you know. So yeah, that's my story. That's why I do what I do. This is why I started influencing and entrepreneurship, because I want to have that freedom. I want to have time freedom, schedule freedom, and I want to have financial freedom. So thank you so much for watching this video. I think I finished my makeup. No, I forgot my contour, the most important. So yeah, let's do my contour real quick. See, I told you at some point I was gonna start doing my makeup and start just talking. Classic me. But yeah, so I am actually doing pretty well. Funny thing, I was homeless in the United States and I own my own here. I own my own home here in Puerto Rico. Another reason why I came back, I was like, why am I struggling so bad to have a home when I own a home back in Puerto Rico, you know? So yeah, I have my own car, brand new car. As you've been following, you already know. You know, I do have support here. I do have my family here. I do have a good relationship with my siblings now. Everything is forgiven. But the one person I haven't talked with in like 7-8 years is my birth mom. Ever since I left that house, I haven't talked with her. She's been trying to reach out, and a part of me is like, I forgive her, but just because I forgive her doesn't mean I want her back in my life, you know. I gave her the second chance. Everybody deserves a second chance, and I gave her that second chance, and she run it, you know. So I cannot put myself back inside that situation ever again. And I'm all about energy, vibrations, you know, vibes. And this person has a really low energy, really negative, dark energy, and I don't want that in my life, to be honest. I totally lost my highlight brush, and I know I had to do it with my fingers, but you can still see that highlight, right? So yes, bitch. Alright, now we're ready to film another video. My next video will be I changed my life, the 5 things that totally transformed my life from where I was to where I am today. So stay tuned for that next video. I think it's coming after this one. So yeah, we're looking better now. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you did like it, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another video with me, and hit the notification bell so that way you get notified too. And yeah, I will see you on the next video. Bye.